In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22, the text says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord." And a few verses later in chapter 6, verse 5, "Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ." For centuries, these verses were used to justify the absolute authority of husbands and the brutal institution of chattel slavery. Today, more progressive interpreters perform stunning theological gymnastics to reframe these verses. They'll say that submit doesn't mean what it sounds like, or that it must be read in the context of mutual submission, or that the slavery verse was a product of its time and culture. The point is that the objective text is so ambiguous that it can be, and has been, used to support both complementarian patriarchy and egalitarian partnership, both slavery and abolition. The interpretation is driven not by the text itself, but by the evolving moral landscape of the society reading it. That is the very definition of subjective relative morality. Anytime you have a massive societal issue like slavery that has been credibly backed up by the Bible and credibly attacked by people using that same Bible, that tells you that by definition, the Bible's morality on this issue is incredibly subjective and absolutely not objective. The result of all this contradiction and vagueness is the world that we see today. Over 1,000 different Christian denominations, all reading from the same book, and all coming to wildly different conclusions about what God wants, what is moral, and how to live. If the Bible were a source of objective morality, this would be impossible. So we have a book that contradicts itself and is too vague to be a reliable guide. But what happens when the Bible is crystal clear? What happens when God, or Jesus himself, gives a direct, unambiguous command? Surely then, Christians follow it, right? Well, that leads us to the most staggering act of collective subjectivity in all of Christianity.